Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature. Welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcast, where we discard our bras and traipse through trilogies to talk about books both published and unpublished. We are your hosts, Jenna, that's me, Marissa,
hello,
and Megan.
Hi.
Before we get started, let's talk about what we're drinking. Marissa?
Oh, I am drinking Sea Witch. It's from an Owl Crate box, I guess, but it's a Earl Grey and hazelnut, I believe.
Delicious.
It's so delicious. I love that one. I'm drinking the pomegranate green tea from Republic of Tea.
Yes, yeah. I bought a seasonal box for the Republic of Tea as a tester, and I am drinking their cranberry blood orange black tea, which has quickly become one of my favorites.
I want to try that one next. It sounds really delicious.
It's so good. So this episode, we are going to be delving into trilogies. Who did them well, who did them not so well, what our favorites are, and which ones we really didn't like so much. So guys, what are some of your favorite trilogies?
I don't know, when I was thinking about this, I kept thinking of, so I kept trying to look up, okay, what trilogies have I read? And I mean, we've all read kind of the classics of, Hunger Games and stuff like that, but I noticed that a lot of trilogies I haven't finished yet, so I don't want to talk about them too much. But I think one of my favorites that I've read recently was the Nevernight trilogy.
Oh, yes. Did you actually finish it?
I actually did finish it.
I'm proud.
I stopped at a certain point and then had to come back much later to finish it.
Yeah, and that one's by J. Kristoff.
Yeah, by J. Kristoff. But it is a really good trilogy. It's got really good world building, interesting characters. It's not afraid to be gritty. I liked it.
Yeah, it was really good. That one's like an assassin kind of thing. I think that one did really well in that each book had its own main plot line that he had to follow.
Yeah.
So, the first one was about the assassin school. The second one was about her being a gladiator.
Yeah.
And then the third one was kind of...
her actually going towards her goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Her actual main goal. Because both of the first books were stepping stones of that.
Yeah.
And then in the third one, it was okay, we did all of this, let's go.
I definitely have to read that one.
I think my thing, and we'll get into it more once we get through all of our favorites and all of that stuff, but the big thing with trilogies is you have to make sure that the second book isn't a filler book. And that one, it didn't feel like a filler book. It felt like a good, it was part of the story as a whole, but also could stand on its own.
See, I'm of this weird minority where I actually prefer the second books. In a lot of the trilogies that I'm going to mention today, I actually, the second books are my favorite. I think for that one, though, I think I preferred the first one, though, because I think it was just, the world building, everything just kind of coming together, and you learn about Mia and the assassin school and how it's, a little bit more corrupt than you would expect for an assassin school.
Yeah.
So, interesting thing for me, I have not read any of J. Kristoff's books on their own, his on his own books.
They're so good.
I want to so bad because one of my favorite trilogies is the Illuminae Files, which is him and Amy Kaufman, and I loved those books. I loved them. I devoured them, and then I read all of Amy Kaufman's other trilogies with
Megan Spooner.
Megan Spooner, that's who it is. And then I read Megan Spooner's books. So now it's time for me to go to J. Kristoff and read his. I think I bought, is it The Storm Dancer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Storm Dancer is the first one.
I bought that one. So I had bought those, and they were on my shelf for so long, and my cousin wanted to read them, and I gave them to her, and she read them, and we haven't talked in 100 years, so I never got them back.
Oh,
so
no.
I need to buy them again. So now I'm torn. Do I want to read that one or the Nevernight series first? I'm not really sure. And then I actually follow him on Instagram, so I know he has the vampire one now too. Mm-hmm. So I'm I gotta read something of his. It's just on his own. I love following him too. He's so funny and interesting. I like him a lot. Now it's good to know that there's not filler books, because that is it's a pet peeve of mine when you're reading a book and you wait for so long for the next one to come out, and it's just why did I read this book?
Yeah.
But yeah, I also, it was funny because when we talked about recording this episode, I was like, oh, trilogies, there's so many books that are trilogies. And then I went back and I was like, oh, there's not as many books that are trilogies as I remember. Oh, wait, that's 4. Oh, wait, that's 5.
Right.
Oh, wait, that's 4. like, oh, that's 8. How did I miss that? Hello, Shatter Me.
Yeah. Well, actually, okay. I was gonna bring up Shatter Me later.
Yes.
It's like what City of Bones? What was that one?
Yes. Yeah, the City of Bones from Cassandra Clare, where it could be a 3
Mortal
trilogy.
Instrument.
But then
yeah.
could also branch off into
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my favorites, as you mentioned, is the Illuminate Files, and that's one that I love. The second one.
Oh, it was so good. The second one was amazing.
That's one of the ones that I was looking at. I'm like, I only read the first book of that. I liked the first book, but the hard part for me was like, the best part about the first book was the twist for me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you do you can't do that same twist in the second one.
Because there's a different twist
'Cause
and it's
there's
different
another one.
characters.
Oh, I'm
my
sure.
gosh.
But that's kind of the thing, though, is I almost wish that it was just that first book for me, because it was such a good, satisfying twist of, like, end it strong there, because in my head, and I'm sure I'll be proven wrong because you guys talk about it so much, but going into the second one, either I'm going to be like, well, you're just repeating yourself, or it's like, yeah, but this isn't the first one.
Right.
So that's my mindset going into it right now, and that's what makes it hard for me to pick up the second one.
I will admit that that's how it was for me with the second one when I first started, because I read the first one and you fall in love with the characters and you like the characters, and God, that twist was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was a perfect twist for that book. And okay, if you haven't read the book, it's the most fun book to read ever, because when
you have to do physical or audiobook.
Yes.
The ebook you can't really do as much because there's so much detail in like the pages,
right,
that you can't like zoom in and check. But the audiobook is a full cast and it has like that radio play kind of thing.
Yeah, so I've never done the audiobook. I haven't listened to the audiobook of it. I might have to do that because I've actually been missing the story and want to redo it. The physical book, and it's funny because I bought this when it was in hard copy, and I was like, I can't even imagine having it in paperback because it was just perfect.
Like cover comes off.
The cover comes off. It's beautiful. And then I lent it out, of course, my first one. So I went and bought the first one again in hardback because I love it so much. But it reads, and it's like a composition of files.
It's a case file.
It's a case file. And so a lot of the dialogue is actually text back and forth with people or emails back and forth. But then they have like parts where it's narrated, but it's someone narrating watching a video.
Yeah.
So it's like they're watching a video and they're telling you what's happening, but it's not just like, and then he walked. It's like, it's as it, and this guy must be out of his mind because he's doing this. And it's like, it gives him personality, and it's funny and it's great. And when I first looked at it, I was like, how is this going to be an interesting story? And it's perfect. It's a
so
perfect
brilliant.
story. I love it. But I loved that book. And then when I went to the second one, I opened it up and I was like, oh, it's not about my main characters. And it took me a little while to like get into it because I was like, where are my main characters? I care about them. And it's a whole different setting. It's not even set in the ship and spaceships or the same planet that it began on. So it's set in a completely different place with two different characters, and you're like, how are these tying together? Like, they talk about what happened in the first book, kind of, and then it all melds and happens so beautifully, and it's perfect, and it is a great trilogy. I love that book.
I might be able to go back to it now because it's been so long since I've read the first one. Maybe I could go into it because it's like I'm not connected to the characters right now or anything like that. I could go into it and start like, okay, this is a different book. I'll start it new, like fresh perspective.
Yeah. See, it would be a good time for you. And now you can finish the series because then you'll care.
It all comes together in book 3.
Yeah.
You know, like the stories
merge again.
Merge.
And I love those trilogies with Jay Kristoff, Amy Kaufman, Megan Spooner. Those really like hook me in and grab me, and I was able to like binge read all of those books.
Yeah.
And if I can binge read a trilogy, I'm even happier. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like pining for a book, and I can't wait for this book to come out. But at the same time, like if I have to wait more than
a year
to finish a book, I'll probably forget what happened.
Right.
Yeah. So
another one of my favorite series is, I mentioned this in the very first episode, just one of my all-time. It's, I guess you could say it's a trilogy, but then there's like prequels and stuff. Is the Old Kingdom series by Garth Nix. It's my all-time favorite series. And that one is, the first one is Sabriel. And that one's supposed to just be a standalone, but then he was like, I'm going to set it when she's an actual adult and has kids. And then here's another story, and here's Lyriel. And that's like that series. And then the third one is the ending of that one. So technically, like,
it could be a standalone, it could be a trilogy, it could also be a...
And then it could just be a whole series when you read the other prequels and sequels and everything. Actually, That's not a trilogy because Golden Hand is also set. Never mind.
It was originally a standalone and then came back as a trilogy. So
For
it was a trilogy for a little while.
It was a trilogy for like a good 10 years. And then he came back.
Yeah.
So never mind about that one.
I think it counts because, like we said, we were going to talk about the Shatter Me series. And that was a trilogy originally with
it's
a
trilogy
novella.
to me because I never read the last 3 books.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. I loved those books. And I loved the story, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really good. And then she made more books, and I want to go back and read them, but I just don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, look, listeners, if you think that I should give it a chance and go back and read the next ones, plead your case. Tell me why. I want to know why I should go back and do the second part of the 6-book set. I read the novellas. I read the first 3. I loved them. Loved Warner. Got you. But if the next 3 are just kind of continuing the story, if they feel like the novellas where it's like, I'm not a novella person. I'm not a person that just wants to hear little stories at the end about moments that could have been, which is ironic because I'm a fan fiction person. I don't know. I'm a complicated individual.
I'm opposite of you. I did not I loved the first book of Shattered Me, and then the second and the third, I felt just kind of, I don't know, tore it away from me. I wasn't really happy with the ending of that one, and I felt it got a little too convoluted. And then I heard the last 3 make it even more convoluted. So I've heard actually both sides. I've heard where people love the second trilogy, and people hated it.
So Jenna read it, and she, like a lot of our books, she goes, Marissa, read this. It's so interesting. Okay, it is, heterosexual love triangle type thing, all of that stuff. But it's written so interesting.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, yes, you read the first book, you're like, this is such a unique, writing and all of that. I like it. You kind of have that, especially in the first book of, she's a little bit crazy. And then once you get past that, this was a really unique writing style. You're like, oh, for me, the story was kind of lackluster. So that's why I didn't continue with it.
I loved the writing style. I liked it a lot. I liked the love story. I loved Warner. He was great to me. Perfect villain gets a girl kind of thing.
Who's not actually a villain.
Who's not actually a villain.
He's a
that's
soft
what they
boy.
always do. But I think I explained it to Marissa as X-Men with a really fun, unique writing style. Because that's exactly what it felt like to me.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun. It was interesting. It also has been years since I read the first book.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to get invested into the next 3, I feel like I'd have to listen to the other ones on audiobook.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if they translate. So if you like them on audiobook, tell me about that too.
I've heard when, in the writing style, when she crosses out, her thought process, it's covered in static. And it's hard to hear. That's what I've heard.
Oh, I don't know if I'd like that as much.
Yeah.
Because I loved that in the book when you'd read things and she'd cross it out. Because that's how you, she in the beginning is institutionalized.
Yeah.
And so, she thinks she's crazy too. So I loved that writing style and the way she portrayed it. The first book I thought was really good. It was the first example of what I hate with love triangles and second boyfriends.
So true. Oh my gosh.
It was the perfect example where it was like, oh, I'm done with this boyfriend. He's not as interesting anymore. Let me make him a complete and total jerk. I hate that. I like when things naturally you break up and you might not like them anymore, but let's not make them a complete and total jerk for the sake of being a jerk when he was nice in the first one. Although I guess that's kind of how relationships actually are. When you break up, you're like, yeah, I hate him now.
Not sometimes.
When you're a teenager.
Yeah, when you're a teenager.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So
I was going to bring up on the lines of, something that was a trilogy and then you're like, oh, wait, there's a bunch more books after this, was the Miss Peregrine series by Ransom Riggs.
Oh, yeah.
I 100% thought that was a trilogy for the longest time. So I read the 3 books. I was like, this was awesome. This was great. Put it on my shelf. Put it away. Never thought about it again.
And then there's another.
Yeah, 2-3 years later, it's like, oh, yeah, there's more books. He kept writing. I was like, oh. And so I haven't read them, not because I thought they were bad or anything, but I was like, it's been so long. I liked how it went. I feel like, I'd go into it and I'd be like, I don't remember what happened. Am I committed to going back and rereading the first 3 to figure it out? I don't know. But that was definitely one of my favorites when I thought it was just a trilogy. The thing I liked about that one was these like old photos that they have in the book, and they just made it like, this looks really weird. I'm gonna make that person have a superpower and make him a character in my book.
Right, like there's the one picture of the one, like, is it the girl or the boy that looks like they're hovering?
Yeah.
And nope, they can fly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
someone went through a big stack of old photos and were like, I'm going to make a book about these
I
people.
think that's what actually happened. I don't know, because the person that recommended it to me, she was telling me about it, and she was like, yeah, this guy just goes to like antique shops and stuff like that and finds these weird photos and writes characters based off of them and put them in this world. So I don't know if it's real or not, because I never fact checked that, but I think I liked that story.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. It's funny because on the other end, there's the books like we've talked about before, Ember in the Ashes, where it's you're reading it and you're reading it as it comes out and you're like, oh no, there's going to be another book. Oh no, it's going to be a trilogy. Wait, there's more.
Yeah.
And you're just like, please tell me this book. So a lot of times now I kind of like look up ahead of time if I'm getting into a book. Is this a standalone? How many books are supposed to be in this series? So I know ahead of time if I'm going to have to be waiting for these books. And the idea behind that is that if I know that things are going to have to, like, I'm going to have to wait for these books, maybe I'll make notes about it. I never do. I wish that I made notes.
If only.
But I don't.
Hindsight.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's funny because I can think of a lot of books that aren't trilogies. And then when I tried to think of, like, okay, what are trilogies? Every freaking dystopian novel in the world is a trilogy.
I'm looking at my Goodreads and I'm scrolling through and I'm just like, oh yeah, okay. We got the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld. And that's a trilogy. Oh, dystopian. The New World Rising series by Jennifer Wilson. Oh, that's a trilogy. Dystopian.
Hunger
Games.
Divergent.
Yep. Matched. I went through a phase where I got really into dystopian novels, and it was pretty much like, I don't know if you guys are this way, where you want to, like, you read something, you're like, I want to live in this type of world forever, so give me all the books like this right now.
Yeah.
And so it was like, for me, I read a good dystopian book, and I want to say it was around the time that I read The Pretties and The Uglies and all of that. And it was like, I just like all the dystopian novels, and it's like all trilogies.
Right.
I had books for so long to keep me going, and then I kind of got out of the dystopian novels. But now looking back, it's like, it feels like dystopian novels are trilogies, and fantasy novels literally are 4 or more.
Yeah.
Or 2 or more. I guess 2 or less, or 4 or more.
Yeah.
Like, exactly.
That's
exactly
exactly what it happened. That's pretty obvious.
Unless you're Tolkien and it's Lord of the Rings.
Yes, and then it's Lord of the Rings, and then 3, and we'll stay there.
We brought up Divergent pretty quickly, but that was one of the ones where I was talking about where it felt like they had a filler book in it. And I was just telling Jenna, so I didn't reread it recently, but I was in a, like, you know, nostalgia state of, like, I'm just going to put on the movie while I do stuff. And I put on the movie, and it's like, the first one was pretty good. And I was like, it's been so long since I've read the books, so watching the movie was good enough where I wasn't associating it. And then the next movie came on, and I was like, oh, that's right. It's just like in the book, where the first one was really good when I read it. And then the second one, it started falling off because it was definitely a filler.
Yeah. Before they get to the big bad.
Exactly.
Sometimes books just need to be duologies.
Yes, maybe just make it 2 books instead of 3. You don't need to have a filler for the sake of having a filler.
I do think Hunger Games did well, even though a lot of people said, oh, you know, they're back in the arena, so it's the exact same book.
Yeah.
But they made it different enough, I think. And then the plot twist ending of that one where, you know, they're like, oh, yep, no, we're saving you, quote, quote, saving you, was really well done, I think.
Yeah, I think that was good because there was a reason they ended up back in the arena.
Right, exactly.
And that reasoning was what was able to fuel the war. I think that if they hadn't had that second book for Hunger Games, it wouldn't have translated well to being like, we're going to rebel and strike up, because what's different from every other time that any kids rose up in the arena?
Exactly.
Like, this was the way of, like, them kind of, it was a tipping point for that society where the world was like, we're not doing this anymore. Mm-hmm. So having that arena where it was like, we're choosing from the people that thought that they survived and never have to do this again, and, like, re-putting them through it all.
Yeah, it's because they broke their own rules. And so they're like, well, if you're allowed to break your rules no matter what, then that's showing how much ultimate power you have. And
yeah. So I think that one was done well. Divergent was totally a filler. And I think that's the hard part with the dystopian novels is they're either fillers or they're the tipping point books.
Right.
And if they're the tipping point books, they're good. But if they're fillers, it's like, especially when you're reading them as they're coming out, you're like, I waited all this time for this.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
It didn't even get to the good stuff. But yeah, I loved the New World Rising. Those were really good ones.
That one was just like, if you read them, because when we got it in the Owl Cray book, the other two I think were coming out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I don't remember we had to wait that long, or
I
maybe
don't
we
think so.
waited to read it and then the other two had come out.
Maybe.
But they came out quickly enough that I was able to just binge it, and it was just like one long continuous story. There was no point. I mean, I honestly thought with that book it was going to be the book one boyfriend turns out to be evil. So I was literally the entire 3 books I was waiting for the love interest in that one to turn evil, and he didn't. Spoiler alert. He was just loving and sweet and caring the entire way, and I was just like, this is it.
This is how it should be.
This is peak book boyfriend status right here. I love it. He was never evil at once.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
And there wasn't the big, like, misunderstanding type stuff. I don't remember.
It was
been a
just
little
them
while.
surviving.
It was just them
Like-
surviving and, like,
they're-
building a family. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that book. I don't know. I like dystopian novels. It's been a while since I've read one, but I do like the way they work. I like the normal people. I don't really like the changing, like, oh, I'm the one person that's different, but I like the normal person being like, I'm not going to conform to this.
Yeah.
And I can't make myself conform to this like everyone else is trying to do. And then, so that's what starts an uprising. And I think that's what I like about dystopian novels. It's not that they're like the chosen one. It's that they choose themselves not to follow into it.
They make themselves the chosen
Yes.
one, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you read the Ugly series in high school?
No, I read it during quarantine.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that
Yeah.
recent.
Yeah, I think you were telling me about it because it was when I was telling you, maybe it was before quarantine. But I remember you telling me, like, you've never read this? And I was like, no. And you were like, well, it's dystopian. Read it now. And it is a perfect high school book. I
It's
wish
really
I had
good,
read
yeah.
it in high school because I think every girl in high school has felt that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of... He did such a good job of putting in, like, especially adolescent women or
Yes.
young girls kind of feelings and, like, trying to conform, wanting to fit in kind of thing, but still wanting to kind of stand out enough that, you know, you get noticed.
Yes.
Yeah, he did such a good job with that series.
Yeah, I think that's the whole do you be yourself or do you become everyone else
Yeah.
feeling? And society makes us feel like we have to fit into this like perfect little mold
Right.
to be pretty or to be, I don't know, an Instagram model, to be wanted. You have to have long flowing hair that's perfectly balayaged and you have to have your nails done and all of that stuff to make yourself like appealing.
You have to wear a bra.
You have to wear a bra. Oh God. And high heels. But you have to like follow these things and it takes away our individuality. And I think that he did a really good job with that. And I think that more teenage and preteen girls should read those books because it delves into how you don't have to be that way just to fit in.
He also released a sequel series trilogy. I think it's just 3. I read the first one, and I didn't realize, because I was like, oh, I'll see what he's written recently. And then I didn't realize it was in that world until I got in, and they were talking about, oh, I forgot her name,
Yeah, it's been forever.
the main character, and I was like, wait a second. I had also just recently reread that series. I think it must have been when I was talking to you about it.
Yeah, I think we probably both were. I told you about it and you went and probably reread it.
Yeah.
So we could talk about it.
What's another book for you, Marissa, or a series? Trilogy.
Oh, I don't know. Like I said, it was so hard for me to actually find a trilogy because I was like, most of the stuff I read are standalones or duologies, or you know, if it's
Long
Gail
series.
character, it's
Forever.
the entire thing, the entire world. I don't know. I think my thing is that I always look at stuff. Like I was thinking of there's a duology about the Avatar: The Last Airbender world about Kyoshi,
Oh, yeah.
and loved that book, that duology. And I'm like, would it have been a good trilogy? Would the second book have been a filler book, or
Right.
would it have been really interesting to get more of like that world building in that time period and stuff like that? So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't finished a lot of the trilogies I've started, and it's less about how well the books were done and how much I don't commit to stuff. Like, I read the one we got in Algrate, the Girls of Paper and Fire.
Is that a trilogy or a duology?
That's a trilogy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that was I've read the first two. Actually, I technically haven't finished the second one because I could tell I was like, oh no, this is ending there's another book after this. So it's one of those, like, especially if it's a trilogy that I've started that the book isn't coming out for a while.
Yeah.
I won't finish it, and then I never go back to it and finish it.
Yeah.
So I'm really bad about following through and committing to things.
I feel like that happened a lot with our owl crates. We got new books that were
And they
going to
were
become
all-
trilogies.
yeah.
And or at least duologies, but a lot of them were trilogies. And I read the first one, I'd love it, and then it'd be so long.
Yeah. And you read so many other books.
That I just was like,
Yeah.
I never went back to it. I did that with
Can we talk about the atrociousness of the titles of Three
just-
Dark Crowns or whatever?
which isn't even
my
a trilogy,
gosh.
isn't it? Like
It's
a four.
It's a four.
It's
book.
four?
Yeah, it's four. Okay.
Where it goes 3, 1, 2.
I was actually going to bring that up because I read the first 3 and I was like, oh, I should talk about these. Wait, there's 4. And they were so good. Where was it?
I
Okay.
want to read them.
I want to finish them.
Yeah.
I actually really, I love photography, and I really want to do a photo shoot of the 3.
Yeah, we've been talking about that
Oh
for
my
years.
god,
I want
forever.
to.
I want to do it so bad.
Okay. So the first one. Wait, hang on. The first one is Three Dark Crowns. The second one is One Dark Throne. And then the third one is Two Dark Reigns. And then the fourth one, there it is, 5 Dark Fates. So it goes from 3 to 1 to 2 to 5. They don't even have a
Yeah,
4.
everything about that makes me angry. Especially because it made 4 out of a book about triplets, which should have stuck at 3.
Yeah, right?
Although, admittedly,
Right.
I haven't finished the series, so maybe it does need 4 books. I don't know.
I want to, like, organize them. And then another book that we got in Owl Crate was 4 Dead Queens.
Oh my god.
And so I want to just, like, put it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then just have that random
Yes.
completely other book in there just to complete the numbers and put them in order. Yeah, that was. Oh, she also has a new book out, which I was
Really?
going to look for today after we
Oh.
do this and go book shopping.
Yes.
One other series that I absolutely love is the Renegade series, which I highly, highly recommend, and that's by Marissa Meyer, who did the Lunar Chronicles.
Yes.
And that one's about superheroes. It is so.
Cute. I love it. It's
You read
cute.
it?
I love it. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you read it.
I did. I love Marissa Myers. To me, I loved it because it is young adult. It feels young adult. It feels to me like a Marvel movie where it's
Yeah.
funny and it's
Yeah.
cute and it's kitschy and it's sweet, and it also follows a girl who is the villain.
Yeah, she's the
And
villain.
she
I loved
starts
that.
as the girl being the villain, and it's very superhero. Like,
Yeah.
there are the villains and there are the heroes, and they're like Megamind kind of feel,
Yeah.
where it's like, we are the villains, we are the bad guys, and they are the good guys, and the good guys, the heroes, always ruin things. And she's like raised by a villain, and like she has her villain backstory, but she's undercover as a superhero trying to like get in, and like, it's good. It's a really, really good series, and it is kitschy. If you're not in the mood for something, if you would be like, I want something pining, and it has a good romance, it's cute.
Yeah, the romance
and
is fun.
I loved it. But if you want that pining for you, deep, like emotional stuff, it's not that. It's kitschy, I'd say.
Oh.
But it has like some moments where it has like a lot of heavy emotion, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's super heavy. But I liked it. I loved that book.
I guess I would say it's pretty much on par with the Lunar Chronicles, where
Yes.
Lunar Chronicles felt very kitschy and like,
Yes.
but still deep enough that you're invested in the characters and their well-being. But yeah, I really love that series, and I think that one is so underrated. Like, it's not talked about as much
Right.
because I think everyone's just focused on the Lunar Chronicles and how good those were, that they don't really have. They don't really talk about the other one, but I
Which is
suggest
funny.
people read that one.
So I read the Lunar Chronicles, loved the Lunar Chronicles, amazing. And then Heartless was one of our
other
owl
ones,
crates.
yeah.
I didn't love that book.
It wasn't my favorite, but there's so many people that absolutely love
Right.
it and say that it's their favorite
It's
book of all
literally a
time.
musical now.
It's a mute. What?
Yes. I follow her on Instagram, and she's talking about it all the time. I think a ton of high school kids adapted her book into a musical and did it as a play for their school. And I haven't seen the movie, or I don't know if there's a movie. If there is a movie, Marissa Meyer, like, fund a movie. It would be pretty cute and cool. I'd
We've
still
been
go
waiting.
see it.
We've
I'd
been
still go
waiting.
see it. I love musicals, so I'll watch a musical version of Heartless. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite book, but I think that what happened with a lot of people is everyone loved Lunar Chronicles.
So
it was
much.
such a good one, and then Heartless came out, and people either loved or hated it.
Yeah.
And then Renegades came out, and
It
all of
just
her
wasn't-
books they're retellings, but the superheroes wouldn't be a retelling, but it's a very niche thing.
Yeah.
But she does it in a way that it's like people flock to one thing, but they don't necessarily go through all of her stuff.
Same thing. That's the same thing kind of going back to Jay Kristoff, where everyone loves the Nevernight series.
Right.
But nobody ever talks about Storm Dancer.
Yeah.
When that, for me, is like, I personally feel I like that one better than Nevernight.
Yeah.
Just because it has like that Japanese folklore in it that I love. And it's steampunk, which
Yeah.
I gotta love steampunk. So
I
it's
like-
so interesting.
I was just saying, I liked that Jay Kristoff kind of sets a theme with, like,
His world.
a culture that he
Yeah.
follows. So, like, the Nevernight follows kind of that Italian, Grecian, Roman culture around it. And then you have Storm Dancer, where
Which
you
is
said
Japanese.
Japanese.
And then what Empire of the Vampire is very Transylvania.
I haven't read any of his stuff, but I do like that he isn't like niched necessarily. Like, oh,
He
I
does literally
yeah,
everything.
I just do British books about British people, and like, it's like he
No,
chooses
he's-
different.
yeah.
And I love that. I love when you have different world, like even if they're not this world, it's like based upon that world. Like,
Yeah,
we've talked about.
cultures involved, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about the Grishaverse, and it's like they're not. It's totally not China, and totally not Russia, and it's totally it's like you have these
is.
different
With a name like Ketterdam,
yeah.
we know what that is.
We know where you are.
Speaking of stuff that was duologies, that I'm like, I wonder if this would have worked as a trilogy. I thought about that with Six of Crows as well, because Six of Crows was just a duology.
But then it does continue, especially with like Nikolai, and then the other like Nina comes back in Rule of Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's almost a separate series.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was kind of my, I don't know, I would say focusing on that gang, that would be the series of it. That duology was good because it was almost two different stories, just that
They
bridged
can't
off
be
of each
six
other.
anymore.
Oh, don't say that! Oh, my heart.
We won't tell you who.
But yeah, it's that, like, it was almost two very distinct stories
Yeah.
that I was all like, I wonder if you could have had a third one in there somewhere.
Oh, okay. So speaking of in that world, then Shadow and Bone is a trilogy.
Yes.
And that one, I will say, I did not like the second one as much as I liked the other ones. I did feel like the second one was kind of filler, even though it was necessary to the story because there's 3 amplifiers that she has to get. So there's 3 books. But I did feel the second one, and a lot of people I've noticed in like book groups that I'm in, I'd say, do I have to finish this one to get onto the third one? And everyone's like, yeah, unfortunately.
Just skip.
But we do get Nikolai in the second one, so
Yes.
he does help. But yeah, I will say that one was a lot slower paced than I think
Yeah.
the first and the third.
I almost went into something, but I really realized I want to make an entire other episode about it. But I want to talk about books that have become movies or TV series.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. We got
definitely.
it.
Maybe a
And
future
so we have
episode.
to do that because I can go on a whole tangent about
Oh, yeah.
this. I liked that trilogy. That trilogy, it's this premise for Six of Crows so much.
Right.
But it's almost funny because it's like the way Six of Crows talks about that trilogy, it almost makes it seem like it was 100 years ago that
I
it
know.
happened. And then all of a sudden it's like, but Nikolai.
It was 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was just
There was-
like, it's not ancient history. It just happened. So I almost was confused about the timeline because I was like, wait a minute, I thought that was 1,000,000 years ago.
So
And then-
I read Six of Crows first. You did
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that one was hard to get into only because she kind of writes it based on, oh, you must have read the trilogy first. And I
Yeah.
was like, why are you talking about all of these Grisha and their magic? Like, I already know this and I don't know this and I don't understand what's going on. And then it took forever. But then going into the trilogy after that was so easy because I was just like, oh, yeah, I already know this.
yeah, I get that. It's
I
fine.
know this.
That's
You don't need
funny
to explain
because I've only read Six of Crows and that
Yeah, she
duology.
hasn't read the trilogy.
I never read the trilogy.
But she'd hate it.
I mean, I know vaguely stuff that happens because, like, we're talking about, like, TV shows.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously that one doesn't follow word for word. But I know vaguely what happens, but I didn't really get, like, you do get that sense of, like, I don't know what's going on at first, but it kind of builds it in where you're learning it.
Eventually, yes.
Exactly. And so that's kind of like what we're talking about with, why am I blanking? The Priory of the Orange Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, at first you start it, you're all like, I don't know this world. What's going on?
Right.
And then the more you read it, the more it's like, oh, okay, so Heartrenders can do this, and this stuff is going on here. Got it.
When she was using the, like, corporal Nikki, I don't know how to say any of those words. When I read, I just go, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I think we all have been there.
Yeah.
Have you seen there's that, like, TikTok sound or something of somebody reading? It's all like, finally, got better than that, and her went into the...
Yep, exactly.
I won't lie. When we were like, okay, we're going to do a podcast, I was like, yes, we're doing a podcast. I can talk about books. Wonderful. And then we sat down to do the podcast. I was like, oh, crap, I have to pronounce things.
Oh, no.
And people are going to give me a hard time about this. I need a huge disclaimer at the front, like, look, I learn words through reading, guys.
Right.
I read it. It makes different noises in my head than yours, promise.
Yep. Another series that we got in the Owl Crate series that I took me forever to finish it was the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber, which I know we all read the first book,
Yes.
And then we had a little discussion about that. I didn't. It took me like years to go in to read the second and the third one, only because for one of the Inktober's I wanted to do like the cards that they had, which was like I think there's 32 cards, so I wanted to draw them. But that one, I feel the first book is its like own thing, but then the second book adds to it and makes the first book better. And it helps you, like, because we went in, I think we didn't really give it a very high rating because we were just like, yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
But then it was just like, okay, there was a lot of stuff, like the main character was annoying and we didn't, why is she doing the things that she's doing?
Yeah.
But the second book follows the sister and definitely adds to it and builds the world up so much more. And then the third one brings it all together. So I definitely recommend continuing it.
Okay.
Did you also?
It's funny.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say you were talking about this, and for me, I read the first book years and years later. I wanted to read the Once Upon a
Broken Heart.
and you were like, no, that ties into Caraval. You have to finish that series first. And I was like, crap, okay. And so I was like, I didn't really love Caraval. I don't know if I'm gonna like want to read it, but sure, I guess I'll go back into it. And unfortunately, I'm in an audiobook kick right now. The audiobook is awful.
Oh no.
So I really wasted a credit on the second book for the Caraval series on audiobook because I didn't like the sister to begin with, and the voice is really annoying in the audiobook of the sister. And I'm just like, oh god, I don't think I can do this. So I haven't finished it yet. But for me, the series that blew up and everyone started talking about that I didn't really love the first series was Cruel Prince.
The Cruel Prince by Holly Black.
And everyone loved it. Everyone can't stop talking about it. And I didn't love the first book. I really didn't like it. And I was like, crap, I just want to know what everyone loves about this book because I didn't love it.
Because it's a bully romance, and that's not,
Yes.
I don't think, any of our jams.
No. I told Megan, I was like, I don't know if it's something that I'd recommend because I don't know that it got so amazing that, like, it deserved the hype that it got. But it is one of those books that randomly I'll just think about.
Yep, same.
And I'm like, I literally, all of the series, and I'll be like, oh, I loved that moment in this book. What book was it? Oh, yeah, that was the Cruel Prince series.
It did have its moments, honestly. There was a lot of parts in it that I was like, yeah, she's a strong female character. She has to survive in this world of, like, fairies and stuff and fae. So she had her moments, yes. I have a friend who, we were talking about books, and she's like, you know what book series I never finished was The Cruel Prince? And I was like, me neither. And so she went and reread them and came back and said, okay, you have to reread them because it makes sense.
Yes.
Everything works out and makes sense in the end.
Right.
So do it. And I was just like, but that means I have to suffer through the first one again.
So I'll be honest, what I did, because I didn't want to reread the first one and suffer through the first one, is I literally just Googled what happened in the first Cruel Prince.
Oh, did you finish the whole
And
series?
yes, I did. I would like to revise what I said. I do think you should reread it, but do it the way I did it. Just Google what happened in the first Cruel Prince. So you remember the basic important stuff, but you don't have to suffer through the first one again.
Okay.
And then get into the second one, because the second one and the third one are good.
Okay.
And I enjoyed them. It's not the bully romance, but it is that, like, God, I don't want to like you, like,
Okay.
romance. And they're perfect together, actually. They really are. They're the morally gray. Like, they're great together. Okay. There's still things about him that I'm like, I would never date these people, but, like, I wouldn't date her. She was kind of annoying, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Okay, I will go back when my TBR isn't so big.
Sounds good. Yeah, so it's funny for me because I've been noticing more and more, like, especially looking back, I just assume that books are going to be trilogies if they have, like, multiple books. And now more and more, it's not trilogies. It's either, like, huge worlds, like Fourth Wing, which are like, oh, it's going to be 5 books.
Right.
Or it's simple duologies. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a trilogy. You know, it's got more than one book. It must be a trilogy. And that's not really the case anymore.
I've noticed that too, like especially with Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. The last couple books that they've released has been duologies.
Yeah.
Like with the Unearthed series and then the Other Side of the Sky.
Yeah.
Oh man, that book could have been a trilogy because it was so good. There was so much world there. I want more.
Yeah, that one
I
was a
loved
good
them.
one. That one was really good. I loved their books. They're very easy to read, and I like literally get so sucked in. I can just be pulled right into their world. I love it. But yeah, it's funny because don't get me wrong, like Gail Carriger or Cassandra Clare or those authors that you really love and you love the world. It's like I want them to write 500 books in this world
Right.
because I never want to leave it. But it's hard when the series is long because especially if you get into it really early on in the series, you're committing to waiting a long time for these books.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Sarah J. Maas right now, she's jumping back and forth between like her books.
Right.
And so like, I mean, I came into her really late. Obviously, all of Throne of Glass was already written, and all of A Court of Thorn and Roses up until Nesta's book had been written. So I read all of those, and then it was like, oh, she has this new series coming out, and I was like, okay, cool, it's a new series. And then after she did that, she's like, oh, and here's Nesta's book, and I was like, okay. And I was like, people are saying, oh, after the next. Is it her Crescent City or something?
Yeah.
She's going to write the next book in The Court of Thorn and Roses. And I'm like, okay, I guess that series isn't done yet.
Yeah, she has a lot more to say.
So it's like, it's fine because I like her world, so I can live in it for a while. And it's one of my favorite series, so I'm fine with coming back to it. Although I do realize, I don't know if you guys have this, where sometimes it's difficult for me to love characters and then come back and see them as side characters.
Oh yeah, when they go on like a different
Yeah.
side story or something.
It's like I still want to be as invested in them, but they're not written differently necessarily, but they're written from someone else's perspective, which makes me less attached to them.
That's kind of what we were saying in the beginning of the episode with the Lumine Files.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how I feel with the Brandon Sanderson Skyward series, where each book is from it's the same main character, but she's off doing other stuff with other characters. And that one's not a trilogy. I was so excited because I was like, oh, the 3rd book's out. I'm home. I have them all here. I'm going to read them. And then I did. And then I was like, wait, they just announced he's releasing a 4th one. No! I was so ready to, I've been collecting them, waiting.
Thought that it would be over. Thought you'd be able to just binge it all one way.
Nope.
And then is it going to stop at 4 or is it going to keep going?
I have no idea. If he has a whole other set of characters in the 4th book and it doesn't all tie it all together, I'm probably going to give up on it.
That's fair. I can see that.
I'll still collect them, though, because the cover is my favorite artist, so I'm just going to...
And maybe one day
doing it,
you'll go
but-
back and be like, yeah, I can do this. Maybe.
It's a big commitment.
It is a big commitment. So at the end of these episodes, we like to ask what everyone's reading. And because I just started a trilogy, I want to take a minute to talk about my trilogy because I also want to talk to you guys about this. So I am reading, I'm listening to, finally, the new Cassandra Clare trilogy that I've been putting off for forever. And
Is that the last hours?
yeah, I don't know. It's like Mortal Instruments is not the name of the book. So I think it's called like The Last Hours, and this one's like Chain of, and I'm on the first book.
Chain of Gold.
Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, Chain of...
Lots of chains.
Yeah, chains.
Okay.
Which, like, City of Brass... Why couldn't she have called it something with a city? Then I could remember. Anyway, I digress. I'm reading it, and I'm on book 1, and I went into this, and it's funny because I tell you, like, oh, I know exactly how Cassandra Clare is going to go. I know what this is going to do to me. And I read this book, and I'm like, I don't know if this one's going to go the way that I think it usually will.
Interesting.
But I love her characters, and I just have to tell you guys, like, I've been trying to convince Marissa slowly to read it without trying to convince her necessarily, because there is a character in it that I love, and Marissa would love her. But I was reading up on her because I was curious. So this book takes place directly after The Clockwork Angel.
Oh, okay.
So it's who ends up together in the Clockwork Angel trilogies, children.
Oh, interesting.
And so you see them as parents, and you see what happens directly after that, and that next generation. And it's funny to watch them as parents, and like they even make jokes about things like, oh, you know, like back in my father's day and in my mother's day, they did these type of things. And it's like Magnus Bane, who's in every book because he's an immortal warlock, is like, why aren't you bringing your parents into this? They did do stuff like this when they were kids, you know? And it's like, but so like they kind of talk about that. But it's that interesting, like seeing them as parents rather than like the main characters that you're reading as. And that's interesting. But this one character literally is like the driving factor. I just want Marissa to be invested in this one character because she has that Genevieve feel from Soulless where she dresses in the height of fashion for men.
Ooh.
But not only that, she's a rake. She is a player, and she just collects women and breaks their hearts and like seduces everyone. And she's totally like, she's like, Cordelia, come to my house for tea, and we're gonna discuss things. Like, tell me all your secrets and stuff like that. And there's like a girl sitting on her steps, like, I thought I was special. I thought all those other girls didn't matter. And then like Anna's leaning out the window. She goes, they didn't matter, and neither did you.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Like, she's just like cutting, and like to see a lesbian portrayed how we would usually portray a man.
Yeah.
Although when I was reading about it, she's supposed to be non-binary more and like gender
Oh,
fluid.
that's cool.
But because it takes place in a time where that wasn't a thing, you know, they don't talk about her with those pronouns because that wouldn't have been a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like even one of the other main male characters talks about like he has a silk green carnation in his pocket, and the main girl's like what's the green carnation for? And he goes, it's for people who love the arts and things that are created, because you'll never find a green carnation in nature, so it has to be created. And he goes, and it's also for loving anyone.
Oh.
And so it's like he's
Secret.
and it's cool because it's like there's, even though it's not societally accepted, the people around them don't treat them badly, their friend groups, and it's still talked about and open, and it still happens in the books. So
Yeah.
it's like I liked that, but I was like, I have to tell you guys to read this. So anyway, that's the book I'm reading today.
I like how Jenna says she has to try to convince me to read this. Like I haven't already read every other Cassandra Clare book.
No, I just have to like. I'm trying to inch it up on your TBR. Here you go. And I have the books themselves, so you don't have to commit to audiobook. I wish that I could commit to reading it. I might read the next ones on Kindle because she borderlines for me with nothing spicy. It's not very spicy. She's not a very spicy author, but I love the romance aspect of these books, and I don't love having someone read the romance aspect to me. So I might try to read the next one on Kindle and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I like it. And also, there's just so much. There's a lot of characters, and they're Matthews and Charles and Christophers, and it's like
Back in the day
crap.
when Jane Austen named everyone Jane.
Exactly, because it's in Britain, and it's
Yeah.
back in those days. So everyone has the same names. So it's like, oh crap, there's Jameses and Gems and Christophers and and I'm like, oh crap, who's who again? Oh, wait, why are they mad that this person's short? Oh, that's a different person. Sorry, you know. So it's like I might have to just read it. But yeah, I love that book. So what are you guys reading then?
Well, I guess I'm reading that book. I'm kind of in between right now, so I'll add that to my list. Maybe that'll be the next one I read.
Well, you can come shopping in my bookshelf.
Yeah. Well, it's just Eve because we mentioned we're going shopping after this, so maybe I'll find something else.
True. What about you, Megan?
I am reading The Chalice of the Gods, which is the next Percy Jackson book, which is like something I never thought would happen, was a new Percy Jackson book, because I came into Percy Jackson at the, like, when all 10 books were done, and so I was able to just binge read all 10 books, and basically, it was just so wonderful. So I'm very excited that there's another one. So that's what I'm reading, and it's by Rick Riordan? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, Uncle Rick.
I'm sorry, Uncle Rick.
But I'm also preparing because the Percy Jackson show is coming out soon, and I am preparing myself by getting back into my love of Percy and his sassiness.
Okay, I actually haven't read Percy Jackson, and I want to watch the show with you guys not knowing anything, because we're going to do an episode about that when we do it. Me and Marissa have not read the books, so we're going to tell Megan what we think, and she's going to tell us what she thinks, and we're going to actually discuss it all. So
I am grinning and nodding. So happy right now. I am so excited, you guys.
Okay, well, tell us what you're reading, because we want to know, and let us know what you think of our episodes. But also, we wanted to give you guys kind of a special heads up, because next week we're going to be going into Divine Rivals. It's going to be more like a book club session where we discuss the book, we've all read it, and what we thought of this book. So if you have a chance before you listen to next week's episode, read Divine Rivals or listen to it. And join us on our deep delve into this book. And as always, we're going to end this on a quote, guys. My quote today comes from Lois Lowry. It says, "Nowadays, it seems as though people sit down to write what they know is going to be a trilogy." And nowadays, it seems like it's not a trilogy.
And then they just keep writing.
And then they just keep going. Yep. Anyway, thanks, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.